Welcome to Woman Who Chat, and today I'm talking with Sue Tonks. Now, normally, Sue, we'd be talking about hydro veg and, growing vegetables without soil. I'm a huge fan. But today we're going to talk about you being an author. So tell us about your book and how it came about.
All right. Well, I've been saying that I'm going to be writing this book for probably around about 14 years. And I always said that because it's a leadership and management book and it's about techniques that I've learned over years and years and years of working with managers and directors and supervisors. And there's just one part of the program that I ran where, the results have been amazing, but one particular part of it, the results have been really, really fabulous. And I said, I'll really put that in a book. But, life gets through and different things occur. And then I kept saying, once I've written the book, I will then say goodbye to my leadership and management training, and because the book will then replace it. So, but it took COVID, actually. I think a lot of people decided to write things during COVID for me to actually get started with it. And to be quite honest, Sandra, if I'd have really sat down and got stuck in, I probably would have written it in about 3 weeks. But it's taken me virtually the 2 years of COVID and etc. going on. But it's been brilliant because Women Who, there was lots of people starting to write books, and that gave me a bit of impetus. And I don't like being behind, and I'm a bit competitive. You'd never know. And Lady was on in the group, so Lady AD, and so I thought, well, why not? So started it. So it's exciting. It's called Can I Have a Word? And
I love that. Those 5 little words can have, and I've been privileged to have been, had sight of the book and the background and the we'll come on to the characters and everything in a minute. But, those 5 little words from both sides of the table, as a manager saying those words, you almost kick yourself once you've said them because they're so stern and they've got so many connotations. But being on the receiving end, oh my God, your stomach just sinks, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, my mum and dad used to say, as all mums have, right, can I have a word? And you think, oh, what have I done? But when I was sitting thinking about the impact of those words, as you said, a really powerful impact. I remember being at school, I was 10. And the headmaster came in, never did the whole 5 words, just looked at me, pointed and says, Tonks, word, and walked out. And I thought, oh, what have I done? And I followed him down the corridors and he pointed to a seat outside his office. And I sat down and I'm shaking, feeling sick. And just thinking, what have I done? I'm going to be expelled. What will my mum say? What will my dad say? What we're going to do? And then they called me in and I sat down and he looked at me through his glasses like that. And he said, we've been having a look at your attitude and behaviour. I thought, oh, this is definitely me out now. And then he said, and we think you've done really, really well. I'd like to make you a prefect. And so even if it's good news, Can I Have a Word can come out really badly. So the book is about, really, it's from a management perspective, but it could be a parent, it could be a sports coach, it could be anything where they've got to deal with performance, behaviour, attitude, alter something or help somebody go a little bit better. And it's all about keeping in control of that conversation, not falling out, not causing animosity, and actually having a plan for improvement as a result of it and follow through. So that's what the book's about. So it's not necessarily just a business book. It could apply to anybody.
Yeah, because when you're having conversations, it depends what mood you're in, but how much thought do you put into that? I caught myself the other day. I needed to have a meeting with somebody very, very spontaneously. And I almost went to say, can I have a word? And, I held myself back because I suddenly thought, no, I've read this. I should approach this a slightly different way because I don't know how the person's feeling. I need to think about this conversation and how it's going to pan out. And almost I need to plan this conversation and how I'm going to communicate. So, yeah, I really do feel there's a good thing going there. So tell us about Vivi.
All right. So So this is Vivi. I've got a picture of her here. I've got some fabulous cartoons in there. So this is Vivi. So Vivi is the staff member, and she's having to have a word. And so she's really sort of worried about it right at the start. So we meet Vivi 2 times in the book. There are 3 times in the book, because there are 3 case studies with Vivi in, and 1 with Victor, which I'll talk about in a minute. But it's about how we.
So tell us about Vivi, one of the characters in the book.
All right, well, we meet Vivi. So Vivi is short for Vivian, and we meet her 3 times in 3 case studies in the book. So she's an ordinary staff member, and if for those that are on view, then this is what she looks like.
So if you hop over to YouTube, you'll see the super character that is Vivi. It's a great cartoon, that's absolutely fantastic.
So Vivi is having these words because of things that she's done, not all serious things, but things that need addressing by the manager. And so what we see is through the book is the manager doing things very right and doing things very wrong, and the reaction from Vivi. And so one of the things that she does is that for those that you can see there, is that once she's been tackled, she hides behind a shield and she blames everybody else for the situation that's occurred. And she isn't doing a bad thing. She's just doing what's natural to her when she's confronted and when she feels threatened. And that's all of the reason for that is what the manager has said to her after the words, "Can I have a word?" And it's just a few words that need to change that will get either Vivi hiding behind a shield and blaming and shooting out. Generally, all the bullets land back at the manager and it's the manager's fault. Or she takes that on her chin and works on a plan forward without feeling any difficulties. So this is Vivi in another one of her scenes. So this is her really, really angry. And then this is Vivi being an angel and doing the job right at the end of the day. So we meet Vivi quite a few times.
So tell us about the other character, Victor.
Right, so Victor, oh bless Victor, he's lovely. So he's a very shy man, and he's very capable, but he's really struggling in the workplace that he's in and finding things really difficult and feels a bit, out of it with the rest of the team. And so certain things have to be addressed, but I'm not going to give the game away as certain things happen and the reason why Victor is as he is and how the manager has to learn how to deal with it, because sometimes when we're working with people, we don't know them all that well. And certainly the manager in this case hasn't found out very much about Victor before he launches in with all of this. So, but Victor's fabulous. And the funny thing is, of course, I run in a video alongside. So when we get to certain parts in the book, there's a QR code and the people can click on the QR code and they will see what's happening in life, in real life, and be able to watch it. And because you'll probably notice that I am all the characters in the book. So therefore, I'm all the characters in the film as well.
Which I think is hilarious, Sue. Kindly shared a couple of snippets of the videos, which are absolutely brilliant. And you play all the characters. It's just brilliant. It's a fantastic, you're the characters in the book, but they have got different names and they look different. And then you're the characters in the video. It's just, and the characters look so much like you. And I've seen you switch characters when you're speaking, and it's just phenomenal, Sue. I can't.
I've got to say, Sandra, that was the hardest thing ever to do because I'm playing every character, the manager and the narrator. I've got to change clothes all the time, but we did all of Vivi's scenes first. So, and then we had to do Vivi's scenes in a different position because she's now facing the manager. And there are lots of scenes. I'm actually across the table. So there's 2 me's with different clothes talking to each other at the same time. So it took a long time. We were 2 days in a room, and, put me in a room of 5,000 people on a stage with no notes. I am absolutely fine. No problem at all. Put me in front of a camera with 6 lines and I went to pieces. It was awful. It's awful. And then everything possible could happen. Like we rented an office for the 2 days. and the people next door, they kept opening and shutting the door and banging, and they were chatting in the corridor, and then there was and the lorries kept going past and going over a grid, and then a guy came out with a strimmer. But oh no!
Oh,
It was awful.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I mean, the team that I got, there's only one guy doing the filming. You know, he's done a fabulous job of all the cuts and the edits and things. But yeah, it took a long time because having to do every single character in different positions.
Yeah, and I suppose planning out those conversations in advance and scripting them and knowing how they would run it to align with the content in the book. This sounds as if you've planned this to precision.
Oh, it's been fabulous. And I think that's one of the things that held me back, because I always wanted to do a video with it, but I really didn't understand how the video worked. Now we've got the QR code, which will just slot in the book. That's just brilliant.
Because when you put just a link in the book and people have to type it out, it's not quite the same. But when you've got a QR code, it's so quick, isn't it? So, so if you're listening, if you're writing a book, you know, the power of the QR code is absolutely amazing.
And of course, you know, we've got our old friends in there as well. So Gollum's in the book. So that's going to be good fun. And I think I've got a little picture for Gollum. I'm just trying to sort it out now and just see where it is. So
I'm sure our listeners would love to hear Gollum just briefly, because we're shortly running out of time. But if we could have a little bit of Gollum, so people at the awards this year were privy to Gollum. So what would Gollum say? Would he say, "Can I have a word?" Or
yeah, Gollum would say,
"No, I don't like sis having a word. No, what if they get upset? What if they fall out with me? We don't like sis having the word. No, we'll do the ironing instead."
And then good Gollum would
say, "Yes, we must just have a word, get them on the track, get them betters. We like it when they're performing betters, yes."
Oh, Sue, I can listen to Gollum all day.
And we've also, just this time, we're introducing the Dementors from Harry Potter as well. So the Dementors are in the book. So it's about having fun as well as learning a lot.
Okay, so you've obviously got a publication date now, which has probably already happened by the time you're listening to this. So how can people get a hold of a copy of the book, Sue?
Oh, well, it'll definitely be published on Amazon. It looks like that's the front cover. And of course, I'll be giving lots of talks on it. And I've actually just got booked for my first speaking gig over at Saxon Mill over in Warwick with SEMA. And so I'm going to be taking information about the book. It won't quite be launched by the time I do that job later on in the month, but yeah, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to do lots of talks about it in industries, in business, in sports clubs and things. Maybe even get to Coventry City and sort that out. And then I'm really excited about it.
Well, I'm sure you'll be popping up everywhere with the book, and I can't wait to get a copy in my hands. It's been great talking to you today, Sue. That's Sue Tonks, author of Can I Have a Word? Thank you, Sue.
Thank you. Bye-bye.